I can't imagine the conversation that parents must have to have, or partners must have to have with, their best friends, their mother-in-law, their parents, the neighbors, the folks at their church or synagogue. So as you see by the screen, it just feels like there's a lot of decisions to make. What do I say? What do I need? What do people need to know? So what can we? How do we think about that? How can someone who's experienced this, whose partner has been arrested for a sexual abusive situation, what are they supposed to tell people about what's happened in their lives?
Well, until Elaine comes on, I'll go ahead. I just want to say, there was somebody that said there is a true loss that happens with the family. The grief is real, and there's a redefining of the family, and that's absolutely true and valid. And I want to just validate that for the person who shared that on the chat. And there's a death, truly, it's a death. And so we talk about this in terms of you've got to be thinking about when you're sharing. Okay, here's the challenge. If it's in the news, everyone's going to see it. And I will say this, we know in the media that there's always more to the story. And so sadly, what people are going to see, if your partner or loved one's sexual offense is splattered all over the news, that is what people are going to know and see. And so then it's a matter of doing damage control, which can be very challenging. One of the things that we talk about with partners is let's limit your time on social media, and those individuals who are not supportive of your process or your family's choices and process, you get to decide how much contact you have with them. With neighbors and acquaintances, you get to choose how much you share and what you share. You don't have to say anything. If they say, oh, we saw this on the news, okay, you saw it on the news. Hopefully those that love and support the partner and family can be understanding, but sadly, oftentimes we hear from partners, it is those closest to them that don't understand. It ends up being the partners in partner groups or on these chats, or the Facebook support groups that are able to say, I understand, I'm with you. So here's the challenge with children's schools. It may not be able to be kept private if it's on social media or made the front page of the news. And so to children, that one is so challenging. I cannot stress enough, everyone should be in therapy. Everyone should be in therapy, because to try and be the parent, both parents, manage the household, take care of the kids, do everything, partners get left behind. And so having the family, a therapist for you as the partner, a therapist for the kids, where you can go in there and talk with a neutral person to get support. So there can be this healing and recovery process happening throughout, is so essential. Your workplace is going to be hard too, again, oftentimes because it is in the media. And so really, I think your business is your business. And if you're able to talk to your boss or superiors about, I'm going through this, I don't want to talk about it, it's not going to affect my work, or it is in some, I'm going to need to leave early for therapy or whatever, but asking for support, because again, it is your business. And you may struggle with productivity, but it is okay to ask for accommodations and support, especially because so many partners do have PTSD. And so, again, this is really a challenging one to navigate, because there is so much out of partners' control. And so again, what we work on is you may need to make your circle of support very small. You may need to limit the time you're on social media. I highly encourage that. You've got to find groups and supports where people do listen, where you are honored and supported for your experience as you go through this, because it is going to be, and it is very, very challenging, so much more than people even could imagine.
Yeah, I'd like to say I can imagine, but I can't. I would imagine that there are a lot of relationships. There's a lot of change in personal relationships as well, that some relationships probably aren't able to continue, and perhaps some folks are able to strengthen some of their relationships. The folks that you've been working with, Candace, have you seen them have to let go of close relationships?
Yes, I've seen or heard partners share about having to set really strict boundaries, as well as not have contact with best friends and family members, and thinking that, I could go to this person, I can trust them, only to find out that they are, 100% against their choices. And so that in and of itself, again, is a loss. There's so much that's
Mhm.
lost. And so partners show up, they're traumatized, they're anxious, they're depressed, they're going through the stages of grief, they feel so alone. And so having, just talking today and having partners listen to this, I know that there are Facebook support groups for partners. Like our program offers a partner group that'll be starting again in July. There are places, but that's really where partners have to kind of start over in building their network of support. So it's not just the shock and devastation of losing their spouse.
Mhm.
It's the shock and devastation of losing the life they thought they had, the relationship they had. I thought I knew this person, now I'm finding out all this. I love them, so now it's really complicated. I've got kids to continue to take care of. I'm choosing to stay. What does that mean? And then the loss of others who judge them. So it's
Yeah.
it's incredibly challenging.
But what about particularly talking to your own children about what's happened?
Oh, that is, I think what's really challenging for that is the different ages and like developmental stages that children are in. And especially if one of your children has been abused. And so that can create so much complication. Um, I think everyone's situation is very different. So if they're young children, it's speaking to their level. And again, I wouldn't do it without the support of a therapist, truly. Um, so that if there are questions, you have a therapist there to give you the support that you and your child will need. When there's teenagers in the house that are older, they're likely going to be confused. They may be confused as to why you stay. They may be angry because you've chosen to stay as the parent. They may they maybe and likely are. And I'm speaking from I'm thinking about a partner in particular who has had so much courage through basically what I'm describing, where navigating the abuse of her own child, and then the angry teenage sibling, the children that are really young that miss daddy, and how challenging that is. So I could say this is specifically what you say, but everyone's situation is different. I could say, your dad made a really horrible choice and this is what he did. However, each situation is different. So what I will say for those listening is there needs to be a therapist present to help with the crisis management of the situation, or someone that's grounded and stable that can help the partner if possible as there are discussions happening. And I don't know that I would bring all the kids together. I probably would encourage partners to, but partners might say, no, I think it's good to bring the whole family together to, perhaps start with each, especially if there's a huge gap, a 3 to 5 year old, there's going to be a lot different of a conversation than a 15-year-old. Because a 3 to 5 year old may only understand that daddy's not going to be living with us because of some things have happened. I love you. I'm still here. Daddy loves you. We are going to get through this, kind of a thing. The 15-year-old, may want to know more information and have more questions. And partners, it's a disclosure. So you need to be mindful of, okay, if partner who's sexually offended is going to stay in the home and there is going to be a relationship, what do you want this 15-year-old to know? And how can you say that in a way that's finessed enough that protects your 15-year-old, as well as the family unit. So it is very, very complicated.
There's a question that came up just now about any thoughts on a teenager who doesn't seem so angry, who still loves dad, but you may want to check in with. Do you want to wait till the teen approaches you and wants to talk, or do you approach and kind of, talk about what's happened? This kid is familiar with the basics of what happened in the family.
So with that situation, and I want to say hi to that person, because they're actually a partner and a huge support to other partners and quite a vocal voice in their local community and court system.
Oh, great.
On behalf of partners. So thanks for being on that person. What I want to say is I would talk to your teen. I would talk to them. I would check in with them regularly so that they know you are a safe person. And if they say, I don't want to talk about it, okay, the door's open, I'm here. I just want to make sure you're okay. And if you need anything, I'm an open door. We can talk about this. So
you would initiate and not wait. Yeah.
In that situation, I would. And I think they're definitely, after something so tragic happens, parents, the partner needs to initiate with each child, and then perhaps come together as a family to talk about, okay, these are our next steps. But we have to always be mindful of the stages of development, the ages of the children mentally, how much information can they handle based on where they're at, and being really mindful and respectful. And I cannot stress enough, therapy is so important. It is so important. And having that support in these disclosure conversations and these check-ins is crucial.